Hello, Targar friends. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again, it's time for another work mode workout. And today was max effort upper day. But a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please click a like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. All right, a little bit different today. I actually bought a new camera. I don't ever spend anything on my channel, but I didn't like that other camera I was filming with. It has a lot of problems, even though it had really good videos. So I actually bought the most expensive camera I have ever bought for YouTube. And I'm going to have to get used to it and figure out the settings on it. But I used it today. I also filmed my breakfast chats today, but they're not going to be up for probably 4 or 5 days. But let's get over to the training. I decided to use this bar again because I really like this bar for close grip work. And ramping up, I didn't expect this to be a max, and it wasn't a max, but I set the safety arms 1 notch too high, and I hit them on the way down, and it threw me out of my groove, even though I hit them. See, it hit, came up pretty easy, wasn't a max. So I'm like, you know what? It's my first day of pressing again after a deload week and all of that. I'm just going to take it easy. That's just a decent enough training max. Next week, I'm going to do something else with this bar, whether it's raw, chains, bands. I'm going to push it hard. I'm going to take it pretty heavy next time. We'll get back in the groove because I already know I'm going to be sore. I was really sore from yesterday's workout after the deload. Things like my traps, my glutes, hamstrings, they're all extremely sore. My adductors are sore. So I already know I'm going to be sore from today's workout, but let's look at what we're doing different. We're going to focus more on range of motion. We're going to focus more on, again, maximizing hypertrophy. I'm cutting. I need to recomposition. Body composition is going to be really important. I'm going to start looking a lot more at, can I get a little more range of motion out of all these lifts? And that's a good reason to use this bar, right? Did it for all my close grip work. Tried to pause on all the reps. Might be 1 or 2 touch and goes here and there. Tried to pause on all the reps. Felt that deep stretch because it gives you an extra inch. Even though it's close grip, and it's like, well, it gives a lot more if you go out wide. Even on close grip, it adds about 1 inch to the bottom. Interestingly enough, you would think I'd feel a lot more chest. And I felt a little more chest, but really I felt it really stretched my triceps more at the bottom. That was interesting. So again, get in and use this bar. And I used it for the incline too. Use it for the incline also. But we're going to start moving in that direction on stuff, right? Even things I might look at like my RDLs. I might even mess with some good mornings again, even with the safety bar. But if I do them, I'm going to take it to where I can go super deep, where I can go real deep. And that means I've probably got to do the real wide stance, and I can go real deep and do them lighter. Even the RDLs I might mess with. You know, I've normally just been stopping where my range of motion is for my hip. I might try to get those on a much deeper stretch. You just have to take a little weight off. Again, we want to maximize hypertrophy because that's what I need to get stronger. Especially now that I'm cutting, body composition is going to be everything for me at a lighter body weight. All right, down at 200 pounds, it's going to matter. I need to be as big and as muscular as I can possibly be if I want to be competitive. So it's going to be about body composition. And so again, the accessory work, we need to focus on maximizing that. And then we get over into, recovery from all of it. We're forced to use a lighter weight because we're doing a longer range of motion on some of these movements. We're going to recover better. It doesn't mean I'm not going to do a lot of chain stuff also. I think on a lot of these, when they stall, chains are going to be the way to go. But I'm like, I have all these specialty bars. Been messing quite a bit with just a straight bar again, but I have all of these bars. It gives me so many tools. I have 13 barbells, for those curious. I have 13 different bars. I need to use these to my advantage. Got them. I might as well use them. Chin-ups I knew were going to be hard today, though, by the way. Chin-ups are going to be really hard because I still haven't dropped the water from my deload week and my vacation, and the fact that I overeat when I do that and then I go back into a deficit. I knew I wouldn't be getting 10s. And these were really choppy. The first 2 sets, I was just kind of just trying to just bang through them, right? Just trying to bang through them. I got 8, then I got 9, right? Some of these I'm not extending to my full range of motion. And keep in mind, my full range of motion may not be your range of motion, especially with a narrower grip. And I've already discussed why. You guys know why I struggled at that top end, right? You guys know that because you see it on my overhead press. Second set again. So then the third set, I'm like, you know what? Let's keep with the trend I decided I want to get more of. So the second set, I do the same thing. I got 9. Third set, I'm like, let me drop to my hang. What is a hang for me? All right, so pause at the bottom. Again, whenever I do this, people will say, oh, there's still tension. It's like, no, I'm not holding any tension. That is my range of motion. Again, keeping in mind that narrower grip is still going to possibly leave some arm bend because of my shoulder position. But I'm not actually holding any tension. So this last set, I'm like, let me just do them all from a hang to drop into my full range of motion to try to briefly come to a stop at the bottom. And I managed to get 7. Now this is a very close grip, so again, it's going to be a little different as far as what joints do, but I'm moving my body through a pretty dang long range of motion because of it. So I'm like, let me just work on these. And maybe I think on chin-ups for a bit, I'm going to do that. I'm going to work on taking them as far down as I can possibly go. So just go to a brief pause and then pull up. I got 7. And that'll go back to 10 as soon as the water weight drops back off. Right, as my weight drops back down to where I was and then I continue to lose again. That'll be back to 10 because I did 7 that way. Now, what was my limit? Biceps. I felt a ridiculous amount of bicep on it. So it's like I'm going to have to do even more bicep work. I'm going to need to really, really focus on my biceps when I do curls. Doesn't mean I'm going to do more curls. It just means that we need to put in some bicep work. Now, the biceps are getting stimulation from that. So I don't want people to think, oh, that chin-up's not doing it. Because when I felt that much bicep doing those, they were literally throbbing on every set. What does that mean? Well, they were working hard. They're going to get growth stimulus from that. But I decided I'm going to mess with some really full range of motion strict curls, right? I think that would do me some good right now. It's going to have to drop the weight way down. But let's hop over and talk about the incline. So these, my God, the stretch difference, just that extra inch, because I already have really long arms. And you guys notice when I do an incline, it's a super crazy range of motion. This adds another inch at the bottom. The pec stretch at the bottom was really, really good. I felt that extra inch. That little bit of extra, even 3/4 of an inch, whatever it is, it was noticeable. Right? I couldn't get 10s. Normally I do 3 pounds more with a straight bar because it's a 52 pound bar. So it goes in 2s instead of 10 increments on the back end. So I did 3 pounds less, and I only got 9s. The 9s were hard. The third rep was a little grindy each time. But the activation was really good. So I need to build up to where I can do 10s with this weight, and then slowly work up and try to work the weight up from there. But yeah, the long range of motion here. And not only did I feel that chest stretch, I also felt a little bit of tricep on these. I don't always feel tricep on the incline. Felt them today. And triceps are going to be one of my biggest focuses. Triceps are going to be really, really important to me. I'm going to be doing tons and tons of tricep work. Everything being closed grip actually makes this all tricep focus. And then I do extensions afterwards. And I might work in some of the floor JM presses later. I feel like right now they're almost too much because I'm doing other extensions after 9 sets of presses on average. Right? All of it closed grip. All right, so what are we doing here? I'm using that cambered bar. The cambered bench bar, right? Also called a McDonald bar. I'm also standing on a plate to add an inch of range of motion. Now, you will note I cannot touch my chest on these. I'm not physically capable of touching my chest, but is it giving me maybe another inch? Because my chest isn't in the way. I have a really thick rib cage and chest. It gets in the way. Yeah, I'm probably getting another inch. And then when my scapula pinch together, that's the top of my range of motion. But again, on a plate, adding a little bit out of the bottom, right? And then this bar, my scapula reach full retraction before the bar can touch my chest. Okay. And as I start to get deep into the sets, it's getting lower. You guys will notice like the final set, I think my last 3 reps or so are at a lower range of motion because I'm pretty much hitting failure. I can't reach even the top I was reaching before anymore. So that's failure. So I dropped weight down. I took 20 pounds off the bar over what I had been doing, and I'm trying to keep these real strict. They're harder. But again, the back activation, pulling it all through a longer range of motion. I'm trying to add range of motion on both ends, right? On a plate, and then using the bar with the camber in the middle so that my chest doesn't get in the way. And like I said, it's hard to determine full range of motion because I'm not hitting the chest now. There's no chest to stop it. So it's basically when my scapula pinch, that's it, we're done. All right, scapula pinch together, we're done. Overhead press. I decided to use this bar, and when I messed with it warming up just a little bit, I'm like, oh, I feel strong on this bar today. I really like this bar for overhead. I decided to work it back in. When I hit my highest bench, when I hit that 352 close grip before, I was doing a lot of these with the overhead. Okay. So I went up to 120. I've been messing with 115 since I started overhead pressing again. Right? I'm up to 120 with this bar. Felt good. This bar feels so comfortable on my shoulders. Feels so comfortable. Now I'm pausing at the bottom because you guys know when I'm doing a closer grip, I cannot lock out the top. And you know, I get people who will say the stupid stuff again, like take weight off. I can't do it with the empty bar. So what do you want me to do? Do 200 reps with an empty barbell and do the same range of motion, right? I can only do it with a real wide grip. And then I can't use any real weight. Our range of motion's nothing. So I'm going just to what my range of motion is. And I'm still doing the dead hangs. I'm still doing mobility. But my shoulders feel a lot better. Those snatch grip high pulls, the way I'm doing them, really seems to have loosened up certain things in my shoulders. They feel better. I'm noticing right now, even after this workout, again, my shoulders feel great. My shoulders feel phenomenal. I have zero inflammation, zero pain of any type in any of the joint, rotator cuffs, nothing. So we're in a good place. So I'm going to work with this. And notice my grip changes a little bit on this bar each time because we don't have markers. So it's going to be almost a different lift. It's going to be a different grip every time. I just grab it what looks about right, and we run with it. But we got all the reps. So technically I used a little more weight than the straight bar, and this is supposed to be a harder bar. But it feels comfortable. It just feels easy to get into the position, right? And we could argue it might help with forearm more and everything else. But for me, overhead pressing with this bar feels more natural. My shoulders really like it. And notice, I mean, I was a little bit stronger today on it. Now, I could be stronger because I ate on the deload, and we didn't test similar lifts, right? I ate a lot on my deload. That could be a factor, but it felt good. All right, snatch grip high pulls. So we're doing them all 4 days now. And I'm trying to go as high as possible. I'm going to micro load while keeping this range of motion, right? I'm going to try to keep this range of motion. So I went up 2.5 pounds today. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make 2.5 pound jumps while trying to maintain this very high range of motion technique. It needs to get well above the nipple. And you know what? It doesn't matter that I'm being forced to use a light weight. I feel my delts. I feel them a lot when I do these. So, hey, we win. It's better. Even though I'm using a lighter weight, the delt activation is really high. And again, keeping in mind, because of the cheat, the eccentric overload on this is tremendous. And I had someone ask that, in the comments, wouldn't, an upright row be better to do the stimulus first? No, not really. I think these crush upright rows. I know a lot of really good coaches who agree. Alan Bacon, Christian Thibodeau, all those guys, they all agree on that. This is the premier shoulder girdle builder. It is way up there. Combining that with the overhead pressing and plenty of rowing, all the pull-ups and rows really hit the rear delts quite a bit too. This hits rear delts hard also, right? Between this and the overhead press, though, it's complete shoulder development. Complete shoulder development. And because I'm doing 3 sets of this every workout, I'm going to do 12 sets a week of it. Like, that's a lot. We start thinking in terms of training volume for just a single exercise that hits all the shoulder, all 3 heads of the delt and the upper trap and everything. It's 12 sets. Because they are getting other work from the other lifts, like the overhead pressing and rowing and things. It's a lot. All right, then we did laying tricep extensions. And you know what? These are hard with this weight. 75 pounds is all I can handle on these. I feel that stretch, and some people may not like the way I'm doing them, but I don't care. These are behind the head. Obviously, this is not a skull crusher. Notice it's not above my skull. It goes behind my head just a little bit. I'm not getting a super deep stretch because my shoulders haven't liked it in the past when I did that. But we are getting a bit of a stretch there. We are getting a little bit of shoulder extension involved. But yeah, it is lighting my triceps up, even with only 75 pounds. But we expect that because we did all that other tricep work. Technically, all 9 of those sets of pressing, not counting the max, is what? It's all close grip. Makes it more tricep dominant. This is to come in and really hammer those triceps. I need to finish them off. And it works all 3 heads. That's the main thing to think about here. It works all 3 heads, which is what we need. Again, in a nice long range of motion, this finishes the triceps. This will finish the triceps off to go with all the heavy pressing I'm doing. So if you start thinking about it, I don't know if we count the 9 or was it 10 sets technically with the max, training max. If we count them as half sets for triceps, that's still 5 sets. If we count them as full sets because they're all close grip, we might be able to make that argument. That's 10, but then we do 3 more of these. I might have some workouts where I try to do more than 3 sets of these to make sure my triceps are really getting hit, but they were so crushed after 3 sets that I don't know that I could have done a 4 set. If I did a 4 set, I would probably have to have waited 10 minutes to do it. And there's a point where it gets tedious waiting 10 minutes to try to replicate 1 more set on a smaller exercise like this. But yeah, definitely let my triceps up. And I think this will help me a lot. So again, why I've started including this movement, it's a completely different training stimulus to all the tricep work I'm doing with the heavy pressing. And it's noticeable. The pump and the burn is there. And that's, again, what we want. I need to make sure my triceps are growing maximally. I need to finish any part of my tricep that is not getting fully stimulated from all of that various close grip pressing. And all of that, I'm kind of doing the old school thing, right? Even if you hear them talk about that at Westside, a lot of the old school really strong benchers used to do 1/3 of their sets flat, 1/3 of their sets incline, 1/3 of their pressing sets overhead. Pretty much what I'm doing. Because again, I'm benching close grip, so upper chest, delts, and triceps play a bigger role than lower chest does now. Not saying the lower chest doesn't matter. They play a bigger role, so all those angles actually have a lot of benefit. And then making sure those triceps are hit. So then I decided to just drop that bar on the ground and try to do strict curls. I was like, oh, I'm going to do strict curls today up against the post. That's 75 pounds. I only got 6 reps. I had to take 10 pounds off. These were humbling, especially going all the way up, right? We're going all the way up. Full range of motion of the bicep now. Because I had been doing it where I was just trying to work the elbow function of it through the full range. So now I'm adding the bit of shoulder extension so that we work the entire, every aspect of the bicep is being fully worked here. So I'm going to do something a little different now. I want to rotate these in for a while. I had to drop down to 65 pounds. That's embarrassingly light. So technically the tricep extensions were stronger once you have to do these strict. Now I can cheat curl a lot. When I've got to do them strict like this, and these are humbling, and I think a lot of people will be surprised how little they can do. You actually have to put your back against a wall or a post. It can be embarrassingly light. But again, we are doing the fullest range of motion possible for the bicep because of the 2 joints involved. And again, keeping in mind the shoulder extension aspect is a much, much less stimulus than the elbow flexion. But I had to drop down to 65, and I could barely get the 10s. I had to almost rest pause. I had to have breathers. I was struggling with the last rep. So I way undercalculated what I could do with the 75. Because even down at 65, the 10s, if I didn't take a big breather for a second or two before the last rep, I would have been able to get them. And they were grindy. But really happy with today's workout. Everything went really well. Felt like I got a lot of good training stimulus. So happy with it. We're going to keep focusing on the things I'm doing while cutting. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.